The small black device tumbled from beneath our bed, landing with a soft thud on the hardwood floor. At first, I thought it was just another lost charging cable or adapter, the kind that breeds in dark corners of every modern home. But as I picked it up, my stomach twisted into a knot. A wiretap. In our bedroom. Our sanctuary. I'm Iris. And until this moment, I thought I understood the rules of my new life as Nathan's wife. Keep the peace with his mother, Martha. Smile through her backhanded compliments. Pretend not to notice when she rearranges our furniture during her weekly visits. But this was different. Nathan? My voice cracked slightly. Could you come here for a minute? I heard his footsteps approaching. The familiar rhythm of his walk that usually brought me comfort now setting my nerves on edge. He appeared in the doorway, coffee mug in hand, his expression shifting from casual to concerned as he saw what I was holding. Where did you find that? His voice dropped to barely above a whisper. Under our bed, while I was looking for my earring. I held it up, watching his face carefully. Please tell me you put this here. Nathan set his mug down with deliberate slowness and closed the bedroom door. He moved closer, examining the device without touching it. Don't say anything else, he mouthed, then grabbed his phone and typed quickly. Mom's been acting strange lately. Wouldn't put it past her. The blood rushed to my face as fury and humiliation fought for dominance. I grabbed his phone and typed back, "How long have you suspected?" He shook his head, indicating he wasn't sure. Then he typed, "Play along. Let's plan a weekend trip. Loud enough for anyone listening." I wanted to scream. I wanted to storm over to Martha's house and demand answers. Instead, I forced a bright tone into my voice. You know what? We should take that weekend trip to the coast we've been talking about, just the two of us. Nathan caught on immediately. Great idea, honey. We could leave Friday after work, stay at that boutique hotel you've been eyeing. Perfect. I squeezed the wiretap until my knuckles turned white. We deserve some private time together. We spent the next 15 minutes having an artificially cheerful conversation about our fake weekend plans while typing real messages back and forth on his phone. With each passing minute, my anger grew deeper, colder. Martha had always been controlling, but this crossed every line. When we finally felt we'd said enough for our unseen audience, Nathan took the device and secured it in his desk drawer. He pulled me close, his arms warm and solid around me, but for the first time since our wedding I felt myself stiffen at his touch. We'll handle this, he whispered against my hair. I promise. But as I stood there in our violated bedroom, I wasn't sure I believed him. This wasn't just about privacy anymore. This was about power, about control, about Martha's refusal to let her son have a life separate from her. And now I had a choice to make. Either accept this invasion and live under her surveillance, or fight back. I pulled away from Nathan and met his eyes. No more playing nice, I said quietly. This ends now. He nodded, but I caught the flash of uncertainty in his expression. Of course, she was still his mother, but she had made a critical mistake in underestimating me. Martha wanted to know every detail of our lives. Fine. I'd give her a show she'd never forget. I picked up Nathan's phone one last time and typed, "We need to talk to Clara. She'll know what to do." The game was on, and Martha had no idea what she'd started. Clara stirred her coffee with calculated precision, her eyes never leaving my face. We sat in the back corner of Rosemary's Cafe, far from any possibility of being overheard. Not that Martha could bug a public place. At least, I hoped not. A wiretap? Clara's voice was low, controlled, but I caught the dangerous edge in it. In your bedroom? Nathan thinks she's been doing it for months. The coffee in front of me had gone cold, untouched. Every time I think about it, I feel sick. All those private conversations, all those intimate moments. And Nathan just, what? Suspected but didn't say anything? I flinched at the accusation in her tone. He says he wasn't sure, that she's always been intense about knowing everything in his life, but this is different. Different! Clara set her spoon down with a sharp clink. "Iris, this is criminal. This isn't just a controlling mother-in-law anymore. This is stalking." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Martha's name lit up the screen. "Dropping by with some homemade soup. Nathan mentioned you weren't feeling well." "Speaking of the devil," I muttered, showing Clara the message. "You never told her you were sick?" "No. But Nathan and I had that loud, fake conversation about me having a headache last night, for our invisible audience." The irony made me want to scream. "She's testing us, seeing if we found it." Clara leaned forward. "Then let's give her something to listen to. You're going back home now, right?" I nodded. "Perfect. Let her come over. But first, we need to make a stop." 20 minutes later, I walked into my house carrying a shopping bag from a local pharmacy. Right on cue, Martha's car pulled into the driveway. I made sure to rustle the bag loudly as I set it on the kitchen counter. The doorbell rang. I took a deep breath, remembering Clara's words. Make her think she has the upper hand. "Martha," I forced a smile as I opened the door. "How thoughtful of you to bring soup." She swept past me, all designer perfume and perfectly coiffed hair. "Well, when Nathan mentioned you weren't feeling well, I just had to come. You know how worried I get about my family's health." "My family, not yours." "That's so kind." I accepted the container, letting her see my slightly trembling hands. "I was just picking up some things from the pharmacy, actually." Her eyes darted to the bag on the counter, exactly where I'd left it, the pregnancy test box visible through the semi-transparent plastic. "Oh?" Her voice lifted with barely concealed interest. "Nothing serious, I hope." "Just a few things I needed." I moved to put the soup away, deliberately leaving the pharmacy bag untouched. Martha hovered, straightening already straight pictures on my walls. "You know, dear, you really should let me know when you're not feeling well. I have so much experience with these things. And Nathan, well, he worries so much about you." "I bet he does, when you're constantly in his ear about it." "Actually, Martha," I paused, as if considering something. "Since you're here, could I ask you something personal?" She practically vibrated with anticipation. "Of course, dear. When you were first married to Samuel, how did you know when you were ready? For children, I mean." The look that crossed her face was almost worth everything she'd put me through. Almost. "Are you—" She couldn't even finish the question. "Oh, no, I laughed nervously. "Not yet, just thinking about the future." Martha's hand found my arm, her grip just this side of too tight. "Darling, there's no need to be nervous about such things. Family is everything, and I'll be right here to guide you through it all." I managed a weak smile thinking of the wiretap in Nathan's desk drawer. "Yes, you'll be right here, listening to every private moment of our lives." "Thank you, Martha. That means so much." After she left, I waited exactly 10 minutes before calling Clara. "Well?" she asked. She took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. I stared at the pregnancy test I'd never intended to use. Now we wait. And then? And then, we show her exactly what happens when you mess with someone's family. The old photo albums in Samuel's study told a story Martha never wanted me to see. While she was at her weekly bridge club, my father-in-law had quietly invited me over, leading me to these leather-bound volumes with trembling hands. "She'll be furious if she knows I showed you these," Samuel said, his voice barely above a whisper. Even here, in his own home, he spoke as if walls had ears. I flipped through pages of Nathan's childhood, every milestone documented with military precision. But something felt off about the images. They're all posed. Martha had them taken professionally, every month like clockwork. Samuel's fingers drummed nervously on his desk. If the first shoot wasn't perfect, she'd schedule another and another. A photo of 7-year-old Nathan in a sailing outfit caught my eye. His smile looked strained, eyes distant. Nathan never mentioned sailing. He hated it, seasick every time. But Martha's father had been a champion sailor, so... Samuel shrugged, the gesture heavy with years of acquiescence. I continued turning pages, seeing Nathan's life through Martha's carefully curated lens. Piano recitals, tennis tournaments, debate club. Each image more perfect than the last, each smile a little more forced. Then, I found it. A candid photo, clearly taken without Martha's knowledge. Nathan, maybe 16, laughing with a girl I didn't recognize. They sat close on a park bench sharing headphones. Sarah Matthews, Samuel supplied, Nathan's first girlfriend. Martha made sure that ended quickly. How? She found out Sarah's father had filed for bankruptcy. Suddenly, the Matthews family was uninvited from all community events. Rumors started spreading. Within a month, Sarah's family moved away. My phone buzzed. Nathan, Mom's asking about baby names. What did you tell her? I ignored it, focusing on the next album. Nathan's college years. Fewer photos now, but more formal. More controlled. The wiretap wasn't the first time, was it? I asked Samuel. He wouldn't meet my eyes. She hired private investigators when he went to college, had his roommates report back to her. She said it was because she worried, but it was about control. My phone buzzed again. Martha this time. Darling, I found the most wonderful specialist. We should discuss your fertility options over lunch tomorrow. The pieces clicked into place. The wiretap, the sudden interest in my health, the constant presence in our lives. History was repeating itself. Samuel, I said carefully, what happened to Nathan's college girlfriend? The one in these photos? He closed the album abruptly. Catherine. She was studying medicine. Very bright. Very ambitious. What did Martha do? Nothing. That's what makes it worse. She just waited. Kept pushing Nathan toward law school, toward the family firm, kept reminding him about legacy, responsibility, family name. Catherine got into a residency program across the country. Martha made sure Nathan was too busy with law school applications to visit. My phone buzzed a third time. Nathan again. Mom's coming over. Says she's worried about you. I have to go, I said, standing quickly. Thank you for showing me these. Samuel caught my arm. Iris, be careful. Martha, she doesn't see what she does as wrong. She truly believes she's protecting her family. No, I said, pulling away. She believes she owns her family. There's a difference. I drove home in a daze, my mind racing. The pieces were all there, the pattern clear as day. Martha wasn't just trying to control our lives, she was recreating Nathan's entire childhood. And now, with her suspecting a pregnancy... Nathan was waiting when I got home. Where were you? Mum's been calling everyone worried sick. I know exactly what your mother's doing, I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. And I know why. Iris? No, Nathan, this ends now. Either you help me stop her, or I'm gone. I won't let her do to our children what she did to you. His face went pale. What are you talking about? Ask your father about Sarah Matthews, I said, watching the colour drain further from his face. Or Catherine, or any of the other people your mother decided weren't good enough for her perfect family portrait. The front door opened before he could respond. Martha's voice rang out, cheerful and sharp as a knife. There you are, darling. I brought prenatal vitamins, just in case. The prenatal vitamins sat on my kitchen counter like a declaration of war. Martha had arranged them in a neat row, labels facing forward, a silent army of plastic bottles marking her territory. I hadn't touched them in 3 days. Nathan paced behind me, his reflection fractured in the window above the sink. We need to tell her. Tell her what? I kept my voice neutral, watching a cardinal land on our bird feeder. That we found her bug? That we know about Sarah and Catherine? Or that I'm not actually pregnant? All of it. He stopped pacing. She's already called 3 fertility specialists. Of course she has. The cardinal flew away as I turned to face him. Just like she called the private investigators in college. Just like she'll call them again when we actually have children. Nathan flinched. That's not fair, isn't it? I picked up one of the vitamin bottles, reading the label without really seeing it. Your father showed me the photos, Nathan. Every perfectly staged moment of your life. Is that what you want for our kids? Before he could answer, the doorbell rang. Through the frosted glass, I recognized Clara's silhouette, but when Nathan opened the door, Martha stood beside her. Look who I ran into in the driveway. Martha's voice dripped honey. Clara was just telling me about a wonderful fertility clinic her cousin used. Clara's eyes met mine, wide with warning. She'd never mentioned having a cousin with fertility issues. Martha, I said carefully, Clara and I have a lunch date. Oh, perfect. I'll join you both. We have so much to discuss about your future. The word future hung in the air like smoke. I watched Clara's hand tighten on her purse strap, saw Nathan's shoulders tense. Actually, Clara said, we were going to discuss work projects. Boring IT stuff. Martha's smile didn't waver. Nonsense. You shouldn't be stressing about work in your condition, Iris, not when there are so many important decisions to make. My condition? The vitamin bottle was still in my hand. I set it down before I could throw it. Well, given the pregnancy test I saw. Martha stepped closer, lowering her voice conspiratorially. Though I must say, you really should see a doctor soon. At your age, every precaution. Mother, Nathan's voice cracked like a whip, but Martha wasn't finished. I've already spoken to Dr. Reynolds. He's very discreet about these matters, especially given the family's position in the community. The family's position? Clara echoed, her tone dangerous. Of course. Martha patted my arm. We can't have any complications. Becoming public knowledge. Not like poor Catherine's situation. The room went silent. Nathan's face drained of colour. What situation? I asked, though my stomach was already knotting. Martha's expression shifted just for a moment before the perfect smile returned. Oh, did Nathan never mention? Such a shame about her miscarriage. Right before she moved away for her residency, too. These things happen when young women put career before family. The cardinal returned to the feeder outside, a flash of red in my peripheral vision. I thought of Catherine, young and ambitious, her dreams of becoming a doctor. I thought of the carefully staged photos, the forced smiles, the lives Martha had shaped and broken. Get out! My voice was steady, surprising even me. Excuse me? Get out of my house. I stepped forward, forcing her back toward the door. Get out of my marriage. Get out of our lives. Nathan, Martha appealed to her son. Surely you won't let her. You knew? Nathan's voice was hollow. About Catherine's baby, our baby. Martha's mask cracked just slightly. I did what was necessary. For your future. Get out, Nathan echoed, moving to stand beside me. Now. After she left, Clara hugged me tight while Nathan disappeared into his study. When I found him later, he was holding an old photograph, him and Catherine on graduation day, young and in love and unaware of what was coming. We need to find her, I said softly. He looked up, his eyes red. Why? Because your mother's right about one thing. I touched my stomach, thinking of the future we'd planned. Family is everything, just not the way she thinks. Catherine's social media trail ended abruptly 7 years ago. No posts, no updates, nothing after her move across the country. But Clara, bless her IT expertise, had found something else. A medical practice in Seattle under the name Catherine Chen Martinez. You're sure it's her? Nathan stood behind my desk chair, staring at the screen. Same medical school, same graduation year. I clicked through the practice's website. And look, her bio mentions growing up in Connecticut. Nathan's hand tightened on my shoulder. The wedding ring on his finger caught the light from my monitor, a silent reminder of everything Martha had orchestrated. We can't just show up at her office, he said. No. I opened my email. But we can send a message. The cursor blinked accusingly as I tried to find the right words. Dear Catherine, remember me. I'm the woman who married the man whose mother destroyed your life. Want to help us take her down? My phone buzzed. Martha, darling, I've been thinking about our little misunderstanding. Let's have dinner tonight. Just us girls. Another buzz. Martha again. After all, stress isn't good for the baby. She's not giving up, I muttered, showing Nathan the messages. She never does. He ran a hand through his hair. Maybe we should just confront her directly. Not yet. I turned back to the email draft. We need leverage. Something concrete. Like what? Like proof she knew about Catherine's pregnancy. Like evidence she's been stalking all of us for years. I started typing. Like whatever else she's hiding. The office door opened. Clara rushed in, face flushed. You need to see this. She handed me her tablet. On screen was a legal document. Old, but clearly legible. A restraining order filed 15 years ago by someone named Rebecca Walsh against Martha. Who's Rebecca Walsh? I asked. Nathan's sharp intake of breath answered before Clara could. Dad's first fiancée. What? Before Mum? I found an old photo once, but Mother said she'd died in a car accident before the wedding. Clara swiped to another document. Not dead, just scared away. According to this, Martha stalked her for months, threatened her family. Rebecca finally fled to Canada. My phone buzzed again. Martha, I'm coming over. We need to talk about your future. She's on her way here, I said, standing. Now. Nathan moved toward the door. I'll handle it. No. I caught his arm. This ends today, but not like this. Not with her controlling the narrative again. I turned to Clara. Can you find Rebecca? She nodded. Already working on it. Good. I walked to my desk drawer and pulled out the wiretap device. Because Martha's not the only one who can record conversations. Nathan's eyes widened. Iris, your mother wants to talk about my future. I slipped the device into my pocket. Let's talk about her past instead. Clara grabbed my hand. Be careful. She's dangerous when cornered. So am I. I squeezed her hand back. Nathan, call your father. Get him here. He needs to hear this too. The doorbell rang, its cheerful chime at odds with the tension in the room. Through the window, I saw Martha's Mercedes in our driveway gleaming like a predator. Ready? I asked Nathan. He looked at the tablet with Rebecca's restraining order, then at the wedding photo on my desk, us smiling, unaware of the shadows lurking behind that perfect day. Catherine lost our baby, he said quietly. Rebecca lost her future. How many others? No more, I promised, heading for the door. It stops here. Martha's voice drifted up from downstairs, calling my name with honeyed concern. I touched my pocket, feeling the wiretap device press against my hip. The same technology she'd used to control her family would now expose her true nature. Sometimes I thought, the best revenge isn't about destroying someone. It's about forcing them to face their own reflection. I started down the stairs, Nathan and Clara behind me, toward the woman who thought she owned our lives. Time to show Martha what real family loyalty looks like. Martha sat in our living room like a queen on her throne, surrounded by the life she'd tried to orchestrate. Samuel stood by the fireplace, his face ashen after hearing about Rebecca. Nathan hadn't moved from his position by the window since Clara showed us the last piece of evidence, hospital records from Catherine's miscarriage with Martha's signature on the visitor log. Really, Iris, Martha sighed, smoothing her silk blouse. All this drama over a simple misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? The recording device felt heavy in my pocket, like Rebecca Walsh was a misunderstanding. Martha's smile flickered. Ancient history. Or Catherine Chen? I stepped closer. Was her miscarriage just a misunderstanding too? Martha, Samuel's voice cracked. Tell me you didn't. Everything I did was for this family. Martha's hands clasped tightly in her lap. Rebecca would have ruined you, Samuel. And Catherine, a resident's salary could never have given Nathan the life he deserved. The life I deserved? Nathan turned from the window. Or the life you wanted for me. They're the same thing, darling. Martha stood, reaching for him. Everything I've done has been for you. For us. Including the wiretap? I pulled the device from my pocket. For a moment, silence filled the room. Then Martha laughed, the sound brittle as breaking glass. Oh, that silly thing. Just a mother's concern. You've been acting so strange lately, dear. The pregnancy test, the secretive meetings with Clara. There is no pregnancy, I said quietly. We staged that to prove you were spying on us. Martha's smile turned razor sharp. No baby? Well, that's disappointing. Though not surprising given your age and career focus. Don't, Nathan stepped between us. You don't get to judge her. Judge? Martha's voice rose. I'm trying to protect you, both of you. This marriage, this family. It's all I have left. Left from what? Samuel moved closer. What happened to you, Martha? What happened? She whirled on him. You want to know what happened? My mother watched my father destroy our family with his free spirit and artistic dreams. We lost everything. I swore that would never happen to my children. So instead you destroyed other families? I pressed play on my phone. Martha's voice filled the room, threatening Rebecca's younger sister's college admission unless she left town. Where did you get that? Martha's face went white. Rebecca kept everything. Clara spoke from the doorway. She's on her way here now. So is Catherine. Martha moved faster than I expected. Her hand caught my wrist, twisting until I dropped the phone. It clattered across the floor as she grabbed my shoulders. You ungrateful little... Nathan pulled her back, but she was already laughing again, high and desperate. You think you've won? That exposing old secrets changes anything? I built this family. I protected it. Without me, you're nothing. No, Mother. Nathan's voice was steady. Without you, we're free. The doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw 2 cars pulling into our driveway. Martha saw them too, her face contorted. I won't let you destroy everything I've built. She reached into her purse, pulling out a thick envelope. You want to talk about secrets? Let's talk about what I found in Iris's background check. My heart stopped. The adoption records I'd sealed years ago. The brother I'd lost to the foster system. The choices I'd made to survive. Go ahead, I said, though my voice shook. Show everyone who you really are. Martha opened the envelope, but Samuel snatched it from her hands. Without looking inside, he walked to the fireplace and threw it in. Enough, he said quietly. No more secrets, no more control. The doorbell rang again. Martha looked from the burning envelope to the door, then to Nathan. For the first time, I saw real fear in her eyes. Nathan, she whispered, please, everything I did was for you. No, he took my hand. Everything you did was for yourself. I squeezed his hand as Clara opened the front door. The past was walking in, and Martha would finally face the consequences of her actions. But as I watched her sink into the chair, suddenly small and old, I realized revenge wasn't what I wanted anymore. I wanted freedom. And sometimes freedom means letting go of the power others hold over you, even when they're family. Especially when they're family. Rebecca Walsh entered first, her silver hair and straight spine a testament to the years she'd survived. Catherine followed, younger but carrying the same weight of past wounds. The room crackled with unspoken accusations as they faced Martha. Hello, Martha. Rebecca's voice carried no tremor. It's been 15 years. Martha's fingers dug into the armchair. You shouldn't have come. Because I'm dead? Rebecca's laugh held no humor. That's what you told everyone, isn't it? A tragic car accident before the wedding? Catherine moved closer, her doctor's coat still on from her flight. Did you tell them about my accident too? The stairs at the hospital that mysteriously lost their safety rail? I never... Martha started. Save it. Catherine pulled out a folder. I kept the maintenance records, the inspection reports, everything. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a text from Clara. Pregnancy test positive. 3 weeks. The world tilted slightly. I hadn't told anyone I was late, hadn't dared hope. But now... What is that? Martha's eyes fixed on Catherine's folder. More lies? Truth. Catherine placed the documents on the coffee table. Like the truth about why I lost my baby. Stress, they said. Excessive stress from anonymous threats, stalking, career sabotage. Samuel picked up the papers, his hands shaking. The hospital board received anonymous complaints about Catherine's competency. That was you? I protected this family. Martha stood, her composure cracking. Rebecca would have dragged you into bankruptcy with her artist dreams. Catherine would have taken Nathan across the country, away from his legacy. I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't lose another... She stopped abruptly. Another what? Nathan asked. Martha sank back into her chair. Your sister, before you were born, she chose her own path, married someone inappropriate. I never saw her again. The room went silent. Samuel's face drained of colour. Claire, he whispered, you told me she died in college. She died to us! Martha's voice rose hysterically. She chose him over family, over everything we built. I wouldn't let that happen again. I couldn't. My phone felt heavy in my pocket, new life growing inside me, while around me lay the wreckage of lives Martha had destroyed to protect her vision of family. I'm pregnant, I said quietly. Martha's head snapped up. What? Actually pregnant this time. I met her gaze. And you will never control this child's life the way you controlled Nathan's. Never. You can't... She can. Nathan moved to stand beside me. We all can. No more secrets. No more control. It ends today. Martha looked around the room, at Rebecca's straight spine, Catherine's steady hands, Samuel's grief-stricken face. Her carefully constructed world was crumbling. Claire's alive, Samuel's voice broke. All these years. I can find her, Clara offered from the doorway. I found Rebecca and Catherine. Martha lunged for her purse again, but this time I was faster. I grabbed it, dumping the contents onto the coffee table. Photos spilled out. Surveillance photos of all of us. Of Nathan and Catherine in college. Of Rebecca before she fled. Of me at doctor's appointments Martha shouldn't have known about. You see? Martha's voice turned pleading. Everything I did was for love. To protect what's mine. Love doesn't destroy, Catherine said softly. It doesn't stalk or threaten or manipulate. That's not love, Martha. That's possession. Get help, Nathan told his mother. Real help. Or you'll never meet your grandchild. Martha's face crumpled. For a moment, I saw past the monster to the frightened woman beneath, terrified of losing control, of being abandoned, of watching her family choose their own paths. I don't know how to let go, she whispered. Start by telling the truth, Samuel said. About everything. About Claire. Martha looked at me, then at my still flat stomach where her grandchild grew. The future she couldn't control. The legacy she couldn't shape. Claire, she said finally, lives in Vancouver. It wasn't redemption. It wasn't even really surrender. But as Samuel reached for his phone with trembling hands, as Nathan pulled me close, as Rebecca and Catherine exchanged looks of quiet victory, I realized it was something else. A beginning. The nursery walls remained unpainted, but I liked them that way. Clean slate, fresh start. Through the window, autumn leaves scattered across our front lawn, and somewhere in the distance a cardinal sang. No pink, Nathan said from the doorway. Or blue. Definitely not. I ran my hand over my growing belly. Though your mother sent another box of gender-specific clothes this morning. He tensed slightly, but I shook my head. It's okay. She's trying. The weekly therapy sessions were Martha's idea, surprisingly. After Claire arrived from Vancouver, all wild hair and artist's paint-stained fingers, so different from Martha's polished perfection, something in Martha finally cracked. Or maybe, finally healed. Dad called, Nathan said, moving to stand beside me. Claire's showing her work at the gallery downtown next month. Is Martha going? She asked if we'd go with her. The old Martha would have tried to prevent the show entirely. Would have found ways to sabotage Claire's moment to protect the family image. The new Martha. Well, she was learning. Like we all were. My phone buzzed. Catherine. Ultrasound looks perfect. See you next week. Having Nathan's ex as my obstetrician raised eyebrows, but it felt right. Healing comes in strange ways sometimes. Rebecca sent this. Nathan held up his phone, showing a photo of a handmade baby blanket. Says it's tradition in her family. The family she was supposed to join before your mother intervened. Yeah. He wrapped his arms around me from behind. Funny how things work out. Through the window, I watched Clara's car pull into our driveway. She'd been helping Samuel organize Claire's gallery opening, and somewhere along the way, they'd developed an unexpected friendship. The wounded helping the wounded heal. Do you ever wonder, I asked, if we did the right thing, exposing everything? As opposed to what? Revenge? I wanted to destroy her at first, to make her suffer like she made others suffer. Nathan was quiet for a moment. But that wouldn't have fixed anything. No. I touched the wall, imagining the colours we might choose. It would have just continued the cycle. Clara's voice drifted up from downstairs along with Samuel's deeper tones and Martha's. My hand instinctively went to my belly, an old protective gesture. We can ask her to leave, Nathan offered. No. I turned to face him. But we maintain our boundaries. Trust is earned, not given. Downstairs, Martha's laugh mingled with Claire's, tentative, awkward, but real. The sound of two people learning to exist in the same space without power plays or manipulation. I found another wiretap yesterday, I said quietly. Nathan stiffened. Where? In the box of baby clothes. But Martha didn't put it there. I pulled the device from my pocket. It's government issue. Apparently my brother's adoption records weren't as sealed as I thought. His eyes widened. You mean Clara's running traces now? We might actually find him. Are you sure you want to? After everything with Martha? That's why I'm sure. I placed the wiretap on the windowsill where the sun caught it. Family secrets don't protect anyone. They just breed more secrets. Below, car doors slammed. Rebecca had arrived with more gallery plans. Soon the house would be full of voices. Claire and Samuel discussing art, Martha carefully measuring her words, Catherine dropping off ultrasound photos, Clara with her latest findings. A broken family slowly rebuilding, not perfect, not even close, but real. We should paint the nursery green, Nathan said suddenly, like new leaves. I smiled, understanding what he meant. New growth, new beginnings. The cardinal outside took flight, a flash of red against the pale sky. I thought of Martha, of revenge and redemption, of the fine line between protecting family and controlling it, of the child growing inside me who would never know the weight of secrets we'd carried. Green, I agreed. But first, let's open some windows. This room needs air. Nathan unlatched the window, letting in the autumn breeze. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. Sometimes it's simply opening windows and letting the truth blow through, clearing out the shadows where secrets hide. Even if that truth comes with a cardinal's warning song.